Good morning, everybody. Good morning and happy Thursday. Welcome to another edition of the Spin Zone. Spin Doc here with you with another, as usual, three more pitchers, analysis, some plays, a whole bunch of review, whole bunch of information for you coming in just a moment. So, first things first, welcome. And if you haven't yet, or if you're just joining us, please do me a favor and uh, subscribe to the Daily Bread Network on YouTube. That's where all these are broadcast, as well as on X with me at SpinDoc Sports. Please give the video a like. Please give it a repost. We do appreciate it. Helps us get all of our content out there. All right. So, with all of that business out of the way, first thing that we always do is review yesterday. We review yesterday. What did we learn? Is there anything we can take from it? And a couple things right off the bat is talked about it, talked about Road Sanchez being a thing when it comes to strikeouts. He hasn't hit six yet on the road. So Christopher Sanchez went 6 innings, pitched pretty well. Did not give up an earned run. He did walk 3, but he struck out 5. So the under hit. And that has been a staple for Christopher Sanchez throughout his career and throughout this year. So he's a guy where maybe I'm not necessarily going to always play the under when he's on the road, but it's really hard for me to play an over because even with this added velo, it's just not happening. And some guys just can't do it. Some guys just need to be at home when it comes to getting those Ks. So the other thing with Sanchez that I did notice is that when you go back and look at his pitch mix, he threw pretty much what he's thrown all year from a pitch perspective. Now he did go. He threw his sinker about 50% of the time, or he throws his sinker about 50% of the time. That was up yesterday. So a lot more sinkers. And if you don't know, sinkers do have a much lower whiff rate than like breaking balls, because a sinker really is just a sinking fastball. And typically you throw it at the top of the zone and it sinks down. You want hitters to swing over the top of it to induce a ground ball out because you're hitting the ball. The plane goes downward. So a lot of sinkers last night from Mr. Sanchez. The other thing that I noticed is that his velo was down. Now, it wasn't down to a level where I would say, "Ooh, like let's not let's be off of him" or things like that. But it was down by almost a half a mile an hour. That can be significant, even when you throw with the velo that he does. Only averaged 95 on his sinker. He had been up in the 96, even 97 range. He only got it up to 97, I think, once or twice. So, not saying that there's an injury or anything to be concerned about. Sometimes weather conditions, just the way that they pitch, just the way they wake up and feel their body feels that day. Sometimes that can account for those variances. But for a guy who's getting strikeouts partially based on his added velo, seeing the velo go down is just something to keep an eye on. More specifically, though, is like I said, Road Sanchez is a thing. Road Sanchez is a thing. Now, moving on to I just wanted to say what's up to Roger because he's always with us. Yeah, morning to you as well. Yeah, injuries do suck, man. Injuries suck, and Hunter Green was. I'm assuming that that's. I'm assuming that that's who you're talking about. So Hunter Green was pretty well rolling yesterday. He had only thrown 53 pitches, 6 strikeouts through 3, was on pace to absolutely obliterate that over, and then left with an injury. Those are the kinds of breaks where, if you play plus EV plays throughout the entire season, those things break both ways. It sucks that it happened last night because if you were on the over for Hunter Green, which we talked about how I said it's over or nothing, you were on pace to absolutely crush and probably hit ladders if you took them. And injuries happen. It's a bad break, and it sucks. But Hunter Green did leave the game yesterday. and suffered. It was actually a groin injury. So as of right now, the last that I saw was that there was an MRI done. They should get the results and the full information today. So I wouldn't be surprised if he misses his next start, assuming that the severity is not like significant, which I hope it's not, because he's having a hell of a year. So the only saving grace for me was that it wasn't to his throwing arm, because anytime you get these aces that have this high velo, that have an injury to any part of their throwing arm, that's when you start kind of thinking about, okay, is this going to be a multiple week thing? But I would be very surprised if Hunter Green made his next start, unless this is a total non-event and he just tweaks something. But just hopefully that it will not be anything serious. So elsewhere across the diamond last night, there were a few other things going on. I had talked about road Dylan Cease being a thing, but boy, did he shove that down my throat last night. Road Dylan Cease, good Lord. 6 2/3. Yankees were clueless last night. 9 Ks, just absolutely sharp. Only needed 89 pitches too. So the Yankees were pretty hapless last night from a strikeout perspective. Aaron Judge, man, he's one of the best in the game, and he hits the ball a ton, and he's got so many good intangibles, but he can have these games. He 3 strikeouts and 4 plate appearances, never really even made like good foul ball contact. Just not Aaron Judge's night. So the Yankees just they were actually very, very fortunate to win that game, and because their offense during Cease's entire start just looked absolutely hideous. But shout out to Max Fried on the other end. Max Fried, I saw yesterday, and I chuckled because most books had his under 5.5 at like minus 170 or minus 180 or some stupid juice like that. And man, that's if you look at trends, if you play trends, which as I've told you shouldn't, is that would look like a reasonably easy bet, as would the Padres overall strikeout percentage against left-handed pitchers. Now, the problem is that, and we'll go to the swing chart when we get to the plays, is that the Padres are chasing the most and swinging the least in the zone over the last 14 days. And that is just tailor-made for Max Fried. Now, he torched the line, 8 Ks. And so if anybody happened to be on the under for that one, ouch, that cost you a bundle. And those are the ones that really add up. And that's one of the reasons why I personally just rarely, if ever, give out juice that high, because you're just paying such a premium price for something that is just not worth it when you compare to virtually all metrics. So, and then the other one was, we did win this one in VIP, was during the day or during the afternoon. Man, you got to pay attention to this stuff. I know Sharpie posted it on his Twitter. When the books mess with a guy, you got to pay attention, because they know, they have the $1 billion technology and we don't. Kodai Senga had just absolutely ripped through the Diamondbacks, the exact same lineup too, by the way, at Citi Field. His last start, he then got them again. I think he had like 7 or 8 Ks. But then they drop his Ks significantly. They drop his outs. They up his earned runs, which he actually didn't give up any. They up his walks, which he walked a bunch, and he finished with 4 strikeouts. When that happens, my immediate reaction is, this goes back to what I said when I did my whole pregame thing about just in general what I look for, is that the funniest thing I think I ever see on X or anywhere else is that, the books effed up, or this line is wrong and here's why. No, it's not. It's set that way for a reason. You're wrong. And that's just, I don't care who you are. I don't even care if it would be me saying it. In no world do I look at these billion-dollar corporations with all their technology and say, well, they just straight up screwed up, and me looking at a trend in a hit rate sheet can tell you why. That is absolute fallacy, and that's how you just continue to pay for their company Christmas parties. So some people did look at the Kodai Senga line and was like, well, he just got 8 last week and he's showing people out this and that. And now it's only a 4.5. Yep. And how many did he get? Okay. There's always a reason behind it. So not saying that you should just automatically blindly play with the books every single time that happens. But if you can figure out the reason why, or can see the reasons why they want that, there are opportunities to take advantage to bet with books for a line that they're baiting the public. We do it all the time in VIP. We did it yesterday with Senga, and we hit at plus money. So, anyways, that's kind of my general learnings from yesterday. I think there weren't really a whole lot of other ones. The only other one that is no, that one didn't really teach me much. Otherwise it was a pretty normal day. If you played the ones that I gave out from Aline's perspective, Robbie Ray, it was a 50-50 shot on the under hitting, and we got there. He did come out in his in that last inning, but more pitch to contact than anything. So the 5.5 did hit. If you played Sanchez's under, that hit as well. And then Hunter Green's over was going to hit almost certainly had he not been injured. So a good day for this ones we talked about, and the leans and the show plays that I gave out. Could have been fantastic had Green stayed healthy. So let's go to the chat. Let's say what's up to everybody listening in right now, and then we'll get on with the business of the day. So Mario, good morning. Thank you for being here, my guy. Always appreciate you. And let's see, Mom Who Bets, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. Glad to do it. And I think we got let's see, a few. I'm going to go to the guys that gave plays. I'm going to go to those last because there's a few that we're covering. Trying to rob FanDuel, good morning to you as well. Thank you for being here. Slim, good morning. What's up, my guy? Saying hit Mankato and on an EV play last night. Good. Whenever I see hit or cashed, that always makes me smile. Money Mel's, good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining. Welcome in. And Roger saying you were right about Kikuchi's pitching outs. He soared over with 18. He had a good start. Man, he had a good start. Blue Jays were very disappointing last night. Very, 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 very disappointing, especially for a team that had just not struck out against this guy at all. Kikuchi showed. And while it's not something to like get used to, that's going to happen every game, he still can do that. So, all right. Now, good morning to Cover Kings. Welcome in. Thanks for joining. And we got, he's on Luzardo at over 5.5. He is one of the ones we are going to be talking about. And also 1 unit Spencer Schwellenbach over 5.5 against the Reds. Wanted to get in Lodolo, but the zone contact is scaring me off. Well, maybe we can get you some insight, because he's another one of the guys that we're going to be talking about. What's up to Go Get Him? Welcome in. Appreciate you, my guy. And looking at Bassett today and maybe Luzardo. So we got some Luzardo fans in the house. So with that in mind, while I get the swing metrics rolling here, it's good that everybody had Luzardo as somebody to talk about. So Let's talk about Jesus Luzardo. Jesus Luzardo, lefty, striking out guys at a 27% rate, walking guys at a 6.5% rate, gets the Rays tonight at 705. This line is hovering between. I think that the juice that Cover Kings gave it out at was probably from earlier, because I'm assuming you've already bet it. So because it's up now, but you're in the minus 155, minus 165 range. I don't know if this is going to go to a 6.5 before first pitch. With the right lineup, it could, with some pretty heavy juice on the over and nice plus money on the under. So let's talk about Mr. Luzardo. So to this line this year, so he's averaging 6.7 strikeouts. He has failed to get 6 strikeouts in 2 of his starts this year, those being against the Giants and then the other one being against the Cubs. Now, 2 things that reign true for both of those teams, and especially you can see it up here on the swing chart, is that number one is they don't chase, or they have a number of guys in their lineups that don't chase. You see the Cubs here at 30.1. You see the Giants here at 29.8. And both of them make elite chase contact. This is especially true because Luzardo does operate in the zone right around pitcher average, but his chase contact allowed is elite, 44.4%. That is one of the better marks among all starters. It's actually it's the second or third best mark among every starter going today. The other thing is that those teams have some quality righties to throw at him for versus lefties. The reason I say that is because this year, and yeah, it's not like a ginormous sample size yet, but his lefty to righty split is just absolutely absurd. 45.5% against lefties, 21.4% against righties. Not enough plate appearances against this projected lineup, which as of this moment is projected to be 2 lefties and 7 righties. So what I look for with Luzardo is I want to see, are they going to chase and are they going to make contact when they do? Because you see the Rays are in a very, very similar spot as the Giants and the Cubs in that they don't chase. They make okay contact when they do. So lineup dependent for this one. Because if you don't chase against Luzardo, then, or if you can make contact when you chase, what you can neutralize is his main out pitch, which is that sweeper. Sweeper throwing at 26.4% of the time, throwing it to both sides of the plate pretty equally. 46.3% whiff rate. And one of the reasons why it's so effective is I've talked about how some guys work all the way around the clock. Luzardo works diagonally. And actually a lot of lefties with breaking balls like sweepers do this. A lot of guys work diagonally. So fastball, changeup, sinker all go up here in the 8 to 11 range. The sweeper drops all the way down here and bites away from righties and is in the 3 to 6 range. So the sweeper itself does have a good solid amount of spin on this. So I'm looking to see who can hit, who's going to chase, who's going to make chase contact, and what are they doing against a sweeper. So we go down the projected lineup and we see Yandy Diaz is solid all around. Christopher Morel is a walking strikeout. I would not be surprised. If he's in the lineup, especially if he's batting in the 2-hole, the under for this one is just absolutely scary. I would be surprised if they batted him in the 2-hole. I would much prefer, because he's a righty, so I'm assuming he's going to be in. You got to move him down to like the 5 or the 6-hole. But if they do, then he has 2 strikeout, 2 plus K or 1 plus K potential. So possibly 2. Reason being is he chases above league average, and also his chase contact is abysmally bad. Caminero, he chases above league average, but does make solid contact when he does, so we can have that. Danny Jansen is doesn't chase and makes contact when he does, so that might be a tougher one. Mead, if he's in, doesn't chase, makes contact when he does, so that one might be tougher. Brandon Lowe can easily be gotten. Horrible chase contact. Caballero can be a walking strikeout. Taylor Walls doesn't chase but doesn't make contact when he does, and Simpson at the bottom is solid contact all around. So when I look at this, I see Morel, I see Caballero, I see Taylor Walls, who can all easily go down. I also see about based on these metrics, about a 50-50 shot for guys like Caminero, guys like Brandon Lowe, and guys like even the Simpson kid, even though he hasn't faced them. The only real dead spot that I'm seeing in the lineup right now is Yandy Diaz. So I think the line is set pretty well correct where it should be. This one for me, I'm not ready to go on the over yet. I do want to see a lineup here, a lineup with Caballero and Morel and probably Taylor Walls too. If all three of those guys are in, that's going to be really, really under is just out of the question with a lineup like that. There's too much chase. There's too much chase whiff. There's just way too many guys that have 1+ strikeout potential. And on a line of 5.5, you just can't have that. You saw it with like Dylan Cease last night, is that Judge struck out 3 times. And I mean, if you have if you have an under 5.5, you're basically nuked because you can allow almost no other strikeouts across the entire lineup. So I see Simpson as being a good spot. I see Yandy as being a good spot. Morel, Caballero, Walls, all strikeout candidates. And then there's the 50-50 balls in between. So if you factor that in, especially with the 1+ strikeout percentage, line set pretty correctly. Line is set pretty correctly in my view. I also think that there are potentially a few other guys for the Rays that I would much rather have in than a few of these guys in the projected. But we'll go ahead and we'll see what they do, because I do see that Misner isn't in, and he's not like fantastically better, but he is better than a few guys in this lineup. Jankowski would be another one that would be interesting to see, because he doesn't chase at all. So for Jesus Luzardo, it's a lean on an over, but it's very lineup dependent. I'm not making this an official show give out or anything like that, just because I need to see how the Rays organize their lineup. And I also want to see what the line does when they do. Behind the plate, you do have Brian Walsh. No, I'm sorry. You don't. He's he's in Atlanta tonight. You have Ryan Wills. Ryan Wills overall is a pretty neutral umpire. He is a little hitter slanted. He's a little hitter slanted. His strike zone can be a little tight. So that's another reason why I do want to see a lack of chase. And for those that do, guys that have chase contact, because the Rays have those in their lineup. So if they organize their lineup the way that it appears that they will, then it might be a lean on the over, but I got to see it. So that is Luzardo. Money Mel saying, how do you find that information? Good question. So for the chase contact for all the contact information, MLB Savant. It is a treasure trove of information. And not only can you see all of the contact information, but if you want, it tells you how guys whiff against certain pitches. And interestingly enough, they actually have video of every single one of them. So you can go look. It'll tell you like what pitches that they've whiffed on and struck out. And it actually has a video of the pitch. So Major League Baseball Savant. And then I just type in the team that I'm looking for, and it brings up all the information right there in front of you. So that's a site that I use. I would probably say a good 80 to 90% of what I gather comes from MLB Savant. And yep, my pleasure, sir. And go get him saying Jansen might be a dead spot. He could be. He could be. My concern with him is that he swings a little bit lower than I'd like in the zone. And then if I go to because the other thing that I look for this is what is the overall whiff percentage to the sweeper for this team. The overall for this year and past years and prior, and what I see is I see a few guys. There's not a whole lot of history here, but there are a few guys like I think, yeah, Lowe has a high whiff percentage. And I think Simpson is not a whole lot of pitches, but he's got a decent whiff percentage. And then Jansen has been good this year. Then going back to previous years against a sweeper, he's been in the mid to high 20s, low 30s. So, I mean, a pretty good spot for a pitcher like Luzardo. So not a guy like I'm totally considering a dead spot, but definitely lower. So all right, onward we go. We talked about this one, Nick Lodolo. So Nick Lodolo is striking guys out at a 17.8% clip. He's got a 4% walk rate. He gets the Braves at 7:15 Eastern time. And his line is a little auspicious. It's a little suspicious. He's been at a 5.5 for his last 4 starts. He's 2-2 to the number, and then they drop him. Now, one of the starts he was over a 4.5 was against the Rockies. And the other one was at home. It's interesting. They had him at home against the Nationals, who are a low K team, especially the lefties. And they put him at a 5.5 and he got 4. Now they drop him to a 4.5 against a team that he probably can strike out. So about Lodolo is in the zone, slightly above pitcher average. He allows a ton of zone contact. He actually allows a ton of contact, period. His chase contact isn't that much better. So 87.3 and 60.4 for both of those contacts for pitchers. Those are both above average. The zone is way above. Now, the other thing with Lodolo is lefty-righty splits. He has had a lot of trouble this year getting lefties, 14.7%. Now, the righty K percentage is only 18.6, but 14.7 is an incredibly low strikeout rate. And here's why this one worries me. If you're even going to think about looking at an over, is that not only do the Braves have several lefties who they'll probably run in this lineup because they have not been afraid this year to run lefty. One of them is Verdugo, and Verdugo is just an absolute dead spot. Verdugo is a wasteland for strikeouts. 95.7% zone contact, 73.9 chase contact, doesn't chase, and makes elite 2 strike contact. He only swings the first pitch 5.4% of the time. So he forces you to throw to him. He's the perfect leadoff hitter for them this year. Then you go down to the other lefty, you go down to Olson, and you see Olson's zone contact pretty decent. It's just slightly below league average. And then the other one, Michael Harris. Michael Harris can be hacky sometimes. He can hack at stuff. But what he does do is he makes contact at pitches in the zone 89.9% of the time. So the 3 lefties were already that Lodolo is set to face. You have a low strikeout percentage for him against lefties. You have a low strikeout percentage in general, and then you have 2 of the 3 guys make elite zone contact. The other one is decent, is so-so. So we go down the rest of the lineup. And what I want to see here is, do these guys chase for the rest of the lineup? So if I'm assuming that Harris, it's hard for me to consider Harris to be a dead spot because of how much he chases. So he's probably slightly above that. Verdugo is Olson probably 50-50. So now I go down the rest of the lineup and I'm looking for, do these guys chase? Because the chase contact and the chase rate for Lodolo is better than zone, because as Cover King said too, zone is bad. So I look and I go down to Riley and I see a good amount of chase, not a lot of chase contact. Could be a candidate. I see Ozuna, does not chase, makes contact, probably not. I see Albus, does Albus, yeah, Albus chases but makes contact, so probably not. You see Murphy. I see not a lot of chase, not a lot of contact, maybe. And I go to Allen, and it's pretty much the same thing. So this line is probably set correctly if this is going to be their projected, if this is going to be their projected lineup. So for me, it's just really hard for me to look at an under on the Braves. Overall, when you look at their last few weeks, their overall contact metrics have been significantly better, especially in the zone at 89.6. Their chase has been better too, but it's been very top and bottom heavy because they have a couple guys that can be in the lineup that just have absolutely gaudy bad chase contact. And that is the one thing that in the games that he's gotten the games he's gotten strikeouts, like the Rockies, like Seattle, like I think that was pretty much it, where he's gotten over this number. That's been one of the staples here. So I think that this line is right. I would have a lean on the under, to be quite honest with you. I would have a lean on the under. I don't know if I am going to or can play it, just because of how the Braves have been. I thought that I had a nice combo with the Braves and Andrew Abbott earlier this week, and we saw how that one worked out. So over just doesn't do it for me for this one for Lodolo, especially with his low K percentage against lefties, and the lefties that the Braves can throw out there. So for me, it would be under or nothing. I'd probably want to see a lineup on this one as well. I had talked about how we get Brian Walsh behind the plate, and Brian Walsh is a pretty pitcher-friendly umpire as well. So there's just a lot of conflicting factors. I might end up throwing Lodolo out for the day, but it would be just a lean on the under. So let's see. Go get him saying Lodolo K dropped. Feel like he's trying to be an all-around pitcher rather than a strikeout. I mean, he never really was technically a strikeout pitcher. He is throwing his curveball more this year, a little bit more, but yeah, he's his overall velo is down, and that to me is probably one of the biggest things that's playing a factor in his lack of strikeouts, because his four-seam fastball never really was anything to write home about. I mean, it averaged 94. He can run up to 95, 96, but it's down in 93.1 now. His changeup is down by a mile an hour, as is his sinker. So his velo has been down this year. He's still throwing kind of pretty much the same pitches, but just not as much velo. Spin is down too. Spin on the curveball, I believe. Yeah, spin on the curveball is down by almost 100 RPMs. And if that's your main out pitch and you're throwing it more, that makes it tough to get overall Ks. All right, let's see. Next, and last but not least, we got Yoshi Yamamoto, out in the desert tonight. 32% strikeout percentage with an 8.5% walk percentage against the Diamondbacks, 840 or 940 Eastern start time. And you got a pretty evenly juiced here, 5.5 for this one. So here's what I'll just start by saying off the jump for the Diamondbacks is that this year, pretty much throughout, they have been very, very gettable. This is against righties. Very, very gettable on the road and elite at home. You saw it yesterday with Senga. Their strikeout percentage against righties at home is under 16.5%. And that's all righties that they faced at home this season. On the road, it's closer to 25. That's one of the bigger splits. What's one of the bigger disparities amongst all teams in Major League Baseball. So you have right off the bat, you have a team that has been absolutely elite at not striking out to righties. Now, with Yoshi Yamamoto, is that for this 5.5 line, this line has also dropped. So he was at a 5.5 a couple times earlier in the year and started to torch it. And then he's been moved up to a 6.5, to a 7.5 and a 6.5, but now back down to a 5.5. I talked about beware of the line moves. Beware of the line moves. Not necessarily saying you have to play it, but beware of the line moves unless you can figure out the reason why. So I think that because there's not a lot of past history here, so I think that the Diamondbacks just overall strikeout percentage at home is probably playing a factor here. You also have where Yoshi has the only time he's had more than 6 strikeouts on the road was once, and that was at Texas on April 18th. Otherwise, you have the Cubs, the Phillies, the Braves, he got 6, but the Phillies and the Cubs, and 5 and 4. And Yoshi himself, as a pitcher, is in the zone at a decent rate, pretty much league average, but he's a lot like Luzardo we just talked about in that chase contact. So if you chase and you don't make contact, you're in trouble against Yoshi. So we go and we look at the projected lineup here for the Dodgers, or for the Diamondbacks, which is projected to be 6 lefties and 3 righties. Yoshi's getting them both pretty much at the same rate, not much to discern from there. But you look at the overall chase rate and you see a good, healthy amount for a few guys like Corbin Carroll. He's making contact above league average now, but he chases a lot. You see Ketel Marte had the day off yesterday, so I'm sure he'll be in. You have not a lot of chase and reasonable chase contact. Pavin Smith doesn't make contact when he does, though. You have Naylor, who is at league average for chase rate, makes great contact when he does. Gino Suarez is no good at all when he chases. He's been more disciplined this year, but still can be a walking strikeout when he chases. Marino doesn't chase very much and makes contact when he does, as does Lourdes Gurriel. And Alek Thomas is not that great for chase. So, I mean, across this lineup, what you have is it being very top and bottom heavy. So this is one where I need to do a little bit of digging around, but I just didn't want people to see it and say, okay, it's dropped from a 6.5, 7.5, and he's hit it in this many, and he's only failed to get 6+ strikeouts twice. So, oh my God, we got to jump on the under here, or got to jump on the over here. I'm not convinced about that, because it's just for a team that's bet as publicly as the Dodgers, for him to be knocked down like that after hitting it in most of his last starts, it's a little suspicious. So I need to do a little bit more digging to figure out what's going on. I do want to see a lineup. What I'm also looking for is how many guys, where are they going to put the chase guys in this lineup? Especially the chase guys that don't make contact, like Gino Suarez, a couple other guys that don't make contact when they chase. Where are they going to put these guys in the lineup? Because if they're going to put them all up top, then I don't know. It might be something where I'd have to leave Yoshi alone. So, but I still keep coming back to the Diamondbacks striking out to righties at home at only a 16.4% clip. That's just absolutely fantastic. One of the best marks in baseball. So that's just if you're looking at getting in on Yoshi. Again, I'm going to need to see a lineup, and I'm going to need to see if they chase. All right. That will do it for the official ones today. For other ones, I see Roger getting in saying, thoughts on Casey Mize against the Suckies? Yeah. I mean, if you're going to play it, it's over or nothing. You just can't play an under against the Rockies. Doesn't matter who. Doesn't matter who, doesn't matter what, doesn't matter how. You just can't. You just can't. So the over is the only way to play it. I need to see how they organize their lineup and what the line does before I decide if I wanted to potentially get in. But over is the only way to play it. All right, all right, all right, all right. Let's go to and the other leans that I might have today. If you are looking for a plus money line, to me, the one that I thought had value, it starts not too long from now, would be the Rangers, plus 120 against the Red Sox, and then I was trying to find a home team plus money line and was kind of coming up dry. Most of the ones for the home teams, the juice. I just don't really want to pay the juice for either, especially on a light day. So that would probably be the only lean that I would have for a total. I would lean on the under down in Minneapolis with the Orioles and the Twins, under 8 or under 8.5. I think you can get it at. And then also the same thing, if you wanted to double up on a game, then under 9 or under 9.5 for Rangers and Red Sox. So super. Can go get him saying we'll be with your Twins today as well as the Dodgers. All right. That will do it for today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Run through the chat one more time. Go get him. Roger, Cover Kings, Mario, Money Mel's, Slim, Roger, trying to rob FanDuel, Mom Who Bets. Appreciate all of you being here. Thank you so much. If you haven't yet, please make sure subscribe to the Daily Bread Network on YouTube. It really helps us get our stuff out there, and give this a like, give this a share. This is Spin Doc. Best of luck if you're tailing, and I will be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow for sure on The Walking Dead with Sharpie, and we'll compare notes, because if it'll be like last week where we're just all going to be on the same guys, and it just makes sense to have one show. So you'll see me in one way, shape, or form tomorrow. But best of luck. Talk to you then.